Your nervous system is constantly asking, is this safe? Is this worth the energy? Do I know what happens next? And when the answers are unclear, well, that's when resistance shows up. And the more friction that you tolerate, the more mental bandwidth you lose. Quietly, steadily, and all day long. Welcome to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, where we explore the keys to unlocking your full potential and living your best life. I'm your host, Jose Johnson. Whether you're looking to make a breakthrough, overcome a challenge, or simply live with greater clarity, joy, and purpose, you'll find the tools and inspirations you need right here. So let's start your journey towards personal mastery and growth right now. Welcome back to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, your go-to resource for practical tips, insightful research, and inspiring stories to help you unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Jose Johnson, and I'm an expert in the fields of mindfulness, mindset, and peak performance. And I'm so excited to have you here with me today. Now, in the last episode, we explored where mental clutter comes from and why it keeps coming back, even when you try to clear your head. So today, we're going to take that to the next step, because once you understand the patterns that create clutter, the real question becomes, how do I stop fighting my brain and start making clarity easier? And the answer, well, it isn't more effort. It's less friction. Look, most people try to fix mental overload by pushing harder. They add more discipline, more habits, more structure, more rules. But here's the paradox. If everything feels hard, the system is broken, not you. Your brain is designed to conserve energy. When something feels effortful, your nervous system treats it as a cost. That's why willpower fades. And that's why clarity doesn't stick when it requires constant effort to maintain. Sustainable clarity comes from reducing friction, not increasing force. So, what is friction? Well, let's see what neuroscience has to say about it. Friction is anything that requires unnecessary decisions, that creates ambiguity, that adds emotional resistance, that keeps things mentally open. So from a neuroscience perspective, friction taxes the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, planning, and self-regulation. The more friction that you encounter, the faster that system fatigues. Now, that's why some days feel heavy before they even begin. It's not about the workload. It's the decision density. But here's the thing, friction usually isn't obvious. It hides in the background of your day, so familiar that you stop noticing it. It looks like vague priorities that force you to constantly redecide what matters. Projects without clear done definitions. Conversations that you know you need to have, but keep postponing. Roles that come with expectations you never clearly agreed to. You feel friction when you open your laptop and don't know where to start. You reread the same email 3 times without responding. You bounce between tasks without ever finishing anything. You procrastinate on things that aren't actually that hard. Look, that's not laziness. That's your brain pushing back against uncertainty. Your nervous system is constantly asking, is this safe? Is this worth the energy? Do I know what happens next? And when the answers are unclear, well, that's when resistance shows up. And the more friction that you tolerate, the more mental bandwidth you lose. Quietly, steadily, and all day long. All right, so here's a critical shift that most people never make. Mental bandwidth is not something you find. It's something that you free. Every unresolved decision, well, it's a tax. Every open loop is a background drain. Every unclear expectation siphons attention. Now, that's why clarity can feel energizing. It doesn't give you more time, it just gives you more capacity. Think of mental bandwidth like battery life. When friction is high, your battery drains even when you're not doing much. When friction is low, you can do more with less effort. Now, this is why some days feel light and focused, and other days feel heavy before they even begin. Nothing changed externally, but internally, friction did. Reduce friction, and your bandwidth will return. So let's get very practical here. Reducing friction doesn't mean overhauling your life. It just means removing small sources of resistance that add up over time. So here are 5 places to start. First, pre-decide the repetitive. Decision fatigue comes from deciding the same thing over and over. When will you start your day? When will you check your email? How will you transition out of work mode? Pre-decisions reduce negotiation, and fewer negotiations means less mental drain. Number 2, clarify done. Unclear endpoints create constant friction. If you don't know what done looks like, your brain keeps revisiting the task. So ask, what does complete actually mean here? Completion frees energy, even when the result is imperfect. Number 3, name the next physical action. Ambiguity, it's exhausting. So instead of asking or saying, I need to work on this, ask, what's the next physical action? Maybe it's open the document, draft the outline, send the message. Movement dissolves friction. Number 4, shrink the entry point. If starting feels heavy, well, that means the entry point is too big. Lower the bar. Just do 5 minutes, 1 paragraph, 1 decision. Momentum begins at the smallest viable step. Number 5, close open loops intentionally. Your brain prefers closure to perfection. So schedule that conversation, send that update, make that decision. Even partial closure reduces your load. Hey, let me pause for just a moment, because if this episode is hitting close to home, I want to share something with you. When I catch myself feeling mentally tired or scattered, I don't try to push harder or power through it anymore. I step back and I get clear. And that's exactly why I created the Clarity and Leverage Planning Kit. It's the same process that I'm using right now to architect my own year, so that I'm not just busy, but intentional. It helps me get everything out of my head, see what actually matters, and focus my energy where it will make the biggest difference. Now, there's nothing complicated or overwhelming about it. It's designed to reduce mental clutter, not add to it. So if you want to apply what we're talking about in this episode to your own life or work, you can find the kit at josejohnson.com/clarity. All right, let's jump back in. So before we close, I want to give you a simple practice that you can use anytime your mind feels full or scattered. Not to fix everything, just to restore enough clarity to move forward. Start by asking yourself, where is most of my mental energy going right now? Not where your time's going, your mental energy. Then ask, what feels heavier than it should? Now, that question often reveals friction immediately. Then next, what decision would reduce the friction if I made it? Not 10 decisions, 1. Maybe it's saying no, setting a boundary, defining a next step, letting something go, choosing to stop revisiting a question. So make that decision, even imperfectly. Clarity creates momentum. Momentum restores confidence. And confidence, well, that makes the next decision easier. And that's how bandwidth comes back online. So if things have been feeling harder than they need to be, I want you to hear this. You don't need more discipline. You don't need more motivation. You need less friction. Clarity grows when resistance is reduced. And that's what this From Clutter to Clarity series is really all about. And if you want to apply what we're talking about in these episodes to your own life, the Clarity and Leverage Planning Kit gives you a simple step-by-step process to help you identify what truly matters, where your leverage is, and how to move forward without burning yourself out. And you can find it at josejohnson.com/clarity. And if this episode resonated, please share it with someone who might be feeling a little overwhelmed, and make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. So until next time, remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Thanks for tuning in. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice or treatment. While the content of this podcast is based on research and personal experience, everyone's situation is unique, and the advice given may not be applicable to all. Always consult a qualified professional before making significant changes in your life. The Personal Mastery and Growth podcast is recorded at the So Good Media Studios, located in the Candy Factory, a co-working space in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.